Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It is Tuesday night and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully, you guys are excited for this as I am. Tonight, we're going to try one of those realistic drawings that we do periodically. I'm not really big on realism. You can see by like the few pictures I got back here. I got to put some more pictures up. I'm more of a kind of like, I don't know, loose style drawing type of dude. Tonight we're gonna like flip that on its head and we're gonna try for realism if we can. So I've done this a couple of times before. I've done a human eye before. I've done a cat eye before. So I figured, hey, let's do a dog. It's all for practice. We're just having fun. For those of you new to the show, I do this often. I kind of give myself a challenge to see if I can pull it off. So we're going to try that tonight. So we got a couple of people in the room. I think Roman Dog is traveling. We got Kid in the room. That's enough for a party. So let's go ahead and get started. Um, Kid says it's always awesome, and it really is. It's always a fun time hanging out with you guys. So I appreciate it. We got OK Larry in the house. OK Larry, like you got to get out of town, man. That that hurricane is coming for you. Anybody who's out there in Florida land, I hear this one's really bad. They've already told everybody to get out of town. Hopefully, hopefully everybody's doing that. So, Larry, I appreciate you being in here, but hopefully you are already on your way to higher ground. I don't want to see anybody get hurt by avoidable storms and stuff. All right, so we're gonna be drawing this picture. Yeah, another hurricane. It's crazy. It's the season, I guess. So we're gonna start drawing this pencil. We are gonna draw this pencil using graphite pencils because I always have fun doing that for these realistic pictures. Oh, and sorry about the blue tape. I ran out of this white tape, so just got to bear with that. So anyway, this is gonna be like a graphite picture, but I'm gonna start with some charcoal just because I have more of it and I need to get some of these dark areas in. So I'm gonna cheat here a little bit. I've done this with all my other pictures, so it's not like I'm just cheating for this one, but I want to get the basics of it in charcoal first before I switch to the graphite. But the idea is that I would put the details in with graphite. So you can do this with graphite, but for simplicity and time constraints and stuff, I'm just going to do it with charcoal because I already have the tools for it and the techniques and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do. You're going to ride that dang alligator to Tornado. You know, I don't know what it is about people from Florida, but they always feel like riding it out. Like I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But everybody always seems like they think they can just ride out, and maybe that's true. I don't know, but I wish you would head for higher ground. I really do. That way we don't have to worry about you. But my understanding, I don't know. I looked at the news before coming on just to see if like I don't always follow the news, so I'm not really sure when things are going to happen and when they don't. Like I've been avoiding the news just because of like politics and stuff. I hate the politics. So um, I during election year, I kind of tune out the news. But I was trying to figure out when that hurricane was really going to look really bad. Um, I think it's going to be Thursday. So Larry, you should not be watching this stream on my Thursday streams. But if you feel like you'd be safe, that's all I want you to do is just be safe so that we don't have to worry about you. But, I don't even know who to warn anymore. Like we had that last hurricane. I thought it was just going to hit down south and everything, and then even up here in Kentucky, we had like really strong winds. We had power outages, all kinds of crazy stuff. Tree blew down in my backyard. Kid lost her freaking her gate, and that's Georgia. I was surprised it came so far inland. Anyway, I don't even know who to warn. Just everybody in America, be careful. We'll mess with nature. Nature always wins. Hey, because I can. How's it going? Got Rome Dog in the house. If you do get caught in a storm, the big piece of advice I would give is make sure you have a little dog to bring with you so that when you end up in Oz, you have a little Toto watching your back. I was walking in the park today and I came across I don't know what they were like little tiny dogs. I want to say that they were probably Chihuahuas. I don't know if they were exactly Chihuahuas, but they looked like Chihuahuas to me. And there was two of them, and they were just yapping along. It was adorable. I like little dogs. They always seem like they have something to prove. Like if you have a little dog, it's always yapping. It's always trying to pick a fight. Big dogs, they just lumber around. They don't care. They're not trying to prove anything. The little dogs, they're always trying to like. They got the little man complexes. They're always trying to like prove themselves like to the world, I guess. It's kind of funny to watch them though. So eventually we're gonna get like a lot of detail in this eye. We're gonna have like reflections and stuff, but this is just to get us started. I just kind of want to know where the eye is and the basic shadows of the eye. Geppetto's had too much to drink. Geppetto does look rough, yes. Yeah, I always try to pose him in different ways, and I realize that I've never posed him where he's like laying down like this and stuff. So that's what I was going for there. Got to meet a Great Dane a couple of days ago. Oh, that's cool. I love Great Danes. Great Danes are huge dogs. Most people like Marmaduke. That's a famous cartoon one. But yeah, they're huge dogs. Like they can wear human clothing. That's how big they are. If you wanted to dress them up, you can put them in human clothing. I love Great Danes. My younger brother has a Great Dane named Odin, I believe. And, yeah, they're basically like a tiny horse. Like they have brittle bones, so you couldn't ride one, but maybe like a newborn or something could ride one like a horse or something because that's how big they are. I'm not saying ride a Great Dane like a horse because I really don't know if that's good for them. They seem kind of fragile, but I don't really know. I just know that they're big dogs. They're huge. Yeah, I think Geppetto's had one too many today. He's like, oh no, not another storm. So I'm trying to get all these like darker areas in so that when I come back with like my graphite pencils. Oh, by the way, I'm just taking like a little piece of charcoal. Like I've shown this in the past and stuff. I always forget to show it. I'm taking a little bit of charcoal and using my blending tool here just to kind of grab that and use it kind of like as a paintbrush. And this allows me to get in like large areas of shadow relatively easy. Um, just so that I can cover like large areas. Again, you can do this with pencil. Like you can put down like a lot of pencil and just kind of smudge it. But the problem is with these realistic pictures that people do, you could spend hours and hours working on them. Like 6 hours easy to get all the different pieces of like get it really photorealistic. For time constraints, I don't really like shoot for that. It'd be a nice goal. Maybe someday I'll do it like off camera or something just to try, or maybe I'll film it as like a time lapse or something. But for these live streams, it's not really practical. That's okay though. We're gonna get some realistic detail in here. Like already, it's starting to look kind of realistic. If you're not really familiar with dog eye anatomy, you probably might be a little bit lost on this map, but it's in there. All while shirtless. What? You got to meet a Great Dane a couple of days ago. It was awesome. All while shirtless. I don't know what you did. Oh, if Larry has to evacuate, he's gonna grab the wife, the dogs, and the disco ball all while shirtless. I get the joke now. Yeah, like it is gonna be an alligator tornado, basically down. I don't know how to pronounce alligator nado, alligator nado. I can't do it. Um, but yeah, once that storm hits Florida, it's gonna take those alligators out there in the lakes and just gonna throw them up in the air. I like Florida. I've always liked Florida. I used to live in Central Florida, a place like Lake called Lakeland. It's seen better days. The last time I was down there, um, It looked kind of rough, like they let it go. Like when I was living there, it was a nice little small town. Um, Clean, things going on. I don't know what happened to it, but a couple of years later, I go down there. It was pretty rough. They may have cleaned it up since. It has been a while since I was down there. I want to say maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 years now. It's been a little while, but I was down there for Christmas one year. I remember that they had it's called Lakeland because there's a bunch of lakes there, but they had the lakes kind of lit up for Christmas. It was nice. Oh yeah, the black squirrel. Thanks, because it can. Yeah, so the black squirrel is straight up black. Like when I drew that squirrel the other day, everybody sent me examples of various different squirrels. I got an example of a white squirrel, which is just as it's described, is all white, and then I got an example of a black squirrel. It is totally black, like complete ninja black. Um, the only one that kind of like you can make out what is in it is the red squirrel, which I think the red squirrels are kind of cool. They don't live around here, so I haven't really drawn one. Like I've never seen them anywhere other than online, but the red squirrels are kind of cool. Um, but yeah, the black squirrel, that's straight up a black squirrel for real. Okay, Larry's like, I think Florida man lives down here there now. That's funny. Yeah, yeah, you guys have a bit of a reputation down there in Florida. I don't want to talk too bad about you guys because you're about to get hit with this crazy storm. So I'll like curb my jokes, but yeah, Florida man is a real thing. The other thing about Florida, so like we've talked about like Bigfoot on this channel before, like because I'm just a big fan of like crazy mysteries and stuff like that. So that includes cryptids and mythological creatures and creatures that maybe are real and like they just don't know it, like Loch Ness or whatever. Um, but the one for Florida is skunk ape, and I think that's so hilarious that out of all the different various creature versions of Bigfoot Florida gets, they get the one that literally smells like a skunk. Like that's where it got its name. The people who are, I think it was the first sighting or something like that. They saw what looked like a gigantic ape, which of course sounds an awful lot like Bigfoot, but it smelled. It smelled terrible. It smelled like a skunk. Um, so out of all the different versions, so you have a bunch of different versions of Bigfoot. You have like Bigfoot, you have Yetis, you have I don't know. Sasquatch is probably the same as Bigfoot. I don't know, but the one for Florida smells. It smells real bad. So it smells so bad that they literally put it in the name. Like this is a skunk. It looks like an ape, but it's really a skunk. And what's worse is that they probably wasn't describing it that way because like it sprayed on them like a real skunk or anything like that. They probably just nah, this stinks. It smells bad. Grew up on the beach. I didn't meet Florida man until I moved rural. I believe it. So like yeah, the thing is, the thing about Florida is the people who've lived there their whole life, they are just checked out. They are so chill that they just don't care about anything. They're just relaxed, right? And then the people who move down there stop giving a crap about anything. So like the people who move down there after they retire, they stop caring about what people think of them. They stop caring about, you know, what their neighbors think, what you think, anybody thinks. They just stop caring. They stop caring what the cops think, right? That's when you stop caring what the cops think, it's pretty bad. So that's the people who move down there um, when they retire. But the people who've lived there all their life, they never cared. They like that was never part of their thing. They just grew up like relaxed. I mean, in a way, Florida is paradise, right? Like left to its own devices, if everybody got along and everything like that. The weather, big hurricane coming notwithstanding, is usually pretty nice. It's usually sunny. You get brief brief bouts of rain and stuff, but um, the weather's usually pretty nice, and it's a it's it's a good like climate if you're into just warmer winters. Like I don't think it ever really got over like 60 degrees during the winter. or under 60 degrees. Maybe it got down to 50 sometimes. I don't know. But anyway, the point is, it's paradise. Really, it could be at least, except for the people. The people in Florida make it not paradise, except for Larry. Larry's a friend of the show. We give Larry a pass, but the rest of you guys down there, it's just bad. I say that with love, guys. Don't like if you live in Florida, don't send me hate mail just because like I'm making jokes of Florida. You guys know what's up. I'll make jokes about people in Kentucky all the time. Kentucky is 100% redneckville. Like, hopefully my neighbors aren't watching the show, but my neighbors are a bunch of rednecks, all of them. You know, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. When I say rednecks, I don't I don't really mean it derogatory. I treat it as like a label. It's you know, it's just like a type of person. It's a type of culture. It's a type of way of life. It's a type of way of thinking. There's nothing wrong with being a redneck. I was I was raised by rednecks. Like most of my extended family are rednecks. I'm a bit of redneck myself. I skew towards the redneckness. Um, and Dave says, "Hey Jeremy, what's the subject tonight? We are drawing a dog's eye. Trying to draw a super realistic dog's eye if we can. Um, that's what we're going for. We'll see if it comes together. Right now, I'm just kind of like blocking in large areas of shadow with this blending stump so that I don't have to draw individual areas. And for some reason, we're talking about Florida people, which I feel kind of bad about. I really do feel bad talking about Florida people, making jokes at Florida people expense when they're about to get hit by this terrible hurricane. I wish you guys all the best. I really do. I hope you guys I hope you guys aren't in Florida, to be honest. I hope I heard that there was like a big traffic jam trying to get out of town. Of course, Florida's big, so I don't really know. I have a $5 wager the Milton will turn. Do you? Huh. I hope it turns and goes back out to sea. That'd be great. So where do you think it's going? Who else should I be worried about if it's turning? Like Rome says, "Oh, nice dog eyes, cool. Yeah, all right, neat." Like I like it when somebody can just look at this and like already see what it's going to be before without me having to explain. I like that. Yeah, it's gonna be a dog's eye. Hopefully, hopefully a realistic dog's eye. Did the cat's eye? It's only fair. By the way, some of you guys were worried about my cat. My cat's doing great. It still has the jaundice, so like its ear is still has like a yellow tinge to it, and its nose. Um, but he seems to be doing much better. This is the last day of his medication, so I'm hoping that like he's all cleared up and he's going to be fine and not kind of regress. But it's one of those things where you take him off the medication and kind of just like see how he's doing. He's been great though. Like he's been running around doing cat things, and he likes to he likes to chase light balls. Like we've got like a little laser pointer. He loves that. So Archer is doing great. Hopefully, he'll stay that way. But I hear the prognosis is good. My understanding is that like if a cat has liver disease, which is essentially what this I don't know the scientific like there's some sort of bile or whatever that builds up in them and they can't process it. Like one of the days he was acting straight up drunk. Like that's the type of toxins that were in his system. Like he was just walking around like he was drunk. Um, so that's not good. but my understanding is that yeah, so like if you diagnose it early and you get him treatment and stuff, as long as he's like fine after the first couple of days and stuff like that, then he's probably going to do well. So that's my hope. That's what we're hoping for. I think it'll be fine. Batten down the hatches, Larry. Alligator. I can't pronounce that. It's easier to write than it is to pronounce. Alligatornadoes. Alligatornado. See, this is me being a redneck. I can't pronounce words. Alligator, Alligatornado. Ah, that's tricky. Alligator. because you want to say alligator, alligator, but you want to say tor, not I don't know, alligator tornado, whatever, whatever, guys. Stop trying to trick me up. Yeah, the alligator tornado insurance. He doesn't need the tornado. Like he's out there with what are those little nets that they use for yeah, it's a tongue tornado twister. I don't know, whatever. Um, you know those like little nets that they use to catch like butterflies and stuff. He's got like a gigantic net where he's trying to catch alligators that are flying by him in the middle of a hurricane. That's what's going on over at Larry's house. I would love to see belt all that stuff. That's what I picture is at Larry's house, but I don't really know. We're getting pretty close to getting it to where I can probably come in and start adding some details, I think, which is cool. I just picture like Larry's house just being full of alligator stuff. Like even if he doesn't have like actual like I can picture he has like an alligator like walking around. That would be cool. But even if he doesn't have that, I can picture it's like alligator decor. Like you know, he has pictures on the walls of paintings on the wall of alligators, all that stuff. I think that's Larry's house. At least there we go. I should say this. I hope that's Larry's house because that would be awesome. An alligator inspired. So kids got that raccoon inspired room. I think alligators would make for a nice room inspiration as well. All right. So basically, like you know, dogs. It's hard to see so far because I haven't put everything in. But you've got the dog's eye here. There's like an ear that kind of flops around here. That's why all this area is in shadow. And then like the dog comes down, and then you've got probably let's say around here you've got you know basically his nose, his snout, little schnauzer, kind of going in here, and then way down here, off camera, out of the frame, you have like his actual nose. So that's the format. That's the layout here. So quickly put in some of this other stuff. And, we're good to go. But yeah, so like all joking aside, really seriously, I hope that you guys are, you know, being safe, battening down the hatches. I know that when I lived in Florida, everybody's windows had these like little closing shutters and stuff like that. I think all that stuff helps. It would be kind of interesting if it did kind of turn. You can feed kettle corn to raccoons, but trying to feed kettle corn to alligators is probably not a good idea. No. I don't like so what I don't like about alligators. So like if an alligator is out sunning himself or something and he's in the distance, he's fine. I don't have any problem with an alligator. If he's even walking across the yard, that's fine. What I don't like about alligators is that they hide. Like their like basic way of like catching prey is basically like hiding and waiting until the prey falls into a trap. Yeah, MJ, like I hope Milton turns and just heads back out to sea. That would be great. It would be ideal. So this is looking pretty good. I think through here I need to get some. I'm trying to like quickly get through this so that I can get into like actually drawing some of the detail. But we're still doing pretty good. We're under half hour. You never really know when you go to do like a detailed picture how long it's going to take. The snout isn't as long hair, so it becomes just basically like shadows. But I think we're pretty good here. Um, you really can't tell that this is going to be a nose. It's kind of like blurred out. It's not the focal point, so it's going to be a little bit tough. You never know what tomorrow brings. That is true. Kid says that she is terrified of alligators. Yeah, we all have our phobias. For some reason, alligators, unless you're actually in a place where alligators live, I'm not that worried about them. Oh, thanks, MJ. Which, you know, it's easy to say. I don't live in a place where there's alligators, so I just don't care. Um, but no, it's true. It's like I never think about them. I never consider them to be like a threat or anything like that. When I did live in places where there were alligators, um, they were always around the lakes. They were, I didn't really go hiking through places that they were like predominantly there. Like there's signs all over the place and in these places where they say beware the alligators and stuff like that. And all that makes sense. But when you go walking on like a trail or something like that in alligator land, you're probably not going to see them. It's not like you're going to accidentally step on one. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about accidentally stepping on an alligator. So it never really happened for me, and good, and I hope it never happens for anybody else. The other thing I would be worried about is like having a pet and having a pet being like curious about them or something and then getting into a fight with them. That would suck. Like a dog getting into a fight with an alligator. Because then you got to step in and you got to wrestle that alligator to the ground. You can't have it eating your pet. All right. So I think this is good for basic layout and shadow. Let me take a swig of this. All right. So now I feel like we can get into some of the features of the eye. So I've talked about this before, and this is kind of a no-brainer. Graphite pencils come in like different numbers, and the higher the number, the darker it's going to be. So it's the softer it is. So this is like an 8B. I don't know if I have a 9 in here. No, I think 8B is the highest this goes. Let's maybe it's an 8. All right, so this 8B is probably dark enough. That just means that it's soft and that you don't have to press as hard for it to get like a really dark mark out of it. So I'm just going to come in here and kind of like outline the eye just to get like some really dark shadows in there. Give this eye some definition. Again, the goal here is to, in a reasonable amount of time, we're not going to spend 5 hours here, to get as much realism into this as we can so that it's convincing without maybe being 100% photogenic. We're not shooting for that level. Hey, we got Tyler in here. How's it going, man? We got Tom in here. Nice. Welcome aboard. Appreciate you guys stopping in. If you guys live in the areas that are targeted for the hurricane or wherever MJ is redirecting it to, because MJ is like really, really focused on having it redirect because of a $5 bet. So like if you're in the actual area that is planned to go, or you are in MJ's path, be safe. You guys don't have alligator spray? So they have alligator spray for like, huh? Is that like bear spray? I guess it would be. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. So like if you can go in bear country with like bear spray, why couldn't you go in alligator country with alligator spray? How do you feel about that, kid? Do you feel like alligator spray would help? Oh, your bear spray might work. There you go. Yeah, you're not afraid of bears, are you? So if you're not afraid of bears, you shouldn't be afraid of alligators. I don't know. They are kind of different. They look like dinosaurs. I can see how somebody might have a phobia of them even without worrying about getting eaten by one. They are they're different than some. So like a bear will tear you up. you know like there was a study. I forget what the percentage was, but it was like 60% of adult males think that they could take on a bear and win. It's crazy. I don't know what the exact number is. Maybe you guys can look it up, but it was a high number. I want to say it was like around 60%. They actually thought that they could take on a bear and win. You can't do that. A bear's going to tear you up. But the difference between a bear and an alligator is that a bear looks cuddly, right? A bear looks cute. So it's not like you have that sort of phobia of a bear that you might have of an alligator that does not look cute at all. It looks like a monster. Um, like some people are afraid of spiders just because they look like spiders. It has nothing to do with whether or not they're poisonous or anything like that. They just have a phobia of spiders, so they don't even care. Just gonna kind of lightly put in some shade here. So I do have like these smaller blending stumps too. So like I need to lightly put that in just because this is all reflected here. Let me put this. Sorry if my chair squeaks. I need to get some oil put in this. It's kind of an older chair. I probably won't do that anytime soon, so like you'll probably hear me apologize for that for a while before I ever get around to doing it. But the idea is that like yeah, I need to take some WD-40 to it. So I'm doing this all with the same pencil, but it's fine. I think this is working out. Because like I really want to get this into these darker areas. People are dumb. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate that. People are dumb. I think the alligator would just eat the can of spray, whatever lemon's holding to it. You really don't like them. Yeah, the problem is that they, like, honestly, the real problem with those alligators, and like I've already mentioned it, but I'm going to reiterate it, is that they lie in wait. Bears do not lie in wait. Bears go after prey. So, like, if you see a bear, you can deal with that. Like, you see a bear off in the distance, you just avoid it or something like that. It's not the same deal with like an alligator. An alligator will wait until you step on it like a mine or something like a little trap. That's no good. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. So yeah, I'm with you. Like alligators are not good. And then what what Larry's dealing with down there in Florida is going to be an alligator NATO. So hey, I said it right. I think alligator NATO, alligator NATO. Yeah, I think it did. Just kind of rolled off the tongue there. So that's not good. Alligators flying around like Sharknado. It's not good at all. Get a little bit around eye in here. It's a little bit hard to draw with the graphite pencil in this environment where I have like a light overhead because it's so reflective. This is why I don't generally like to draw with graphite as much as I like to draw with uh, charcoal. So charcoal isn't reflective, so I like that better in this situation than I do the graphite. But that's okay. We're gonna be just fine with this graphite. You just have to kind of like lean to the side or something to see it without the reflection on it. But that's okay. It's okay. I am willing to do that for you guys. I really am. Oh, that was the square squeaky one. Yes, it is. So it is a squeaky chair. It is not me. It's not me pooting on air. Which I'm not above doing. If I have to, yeah, if that has to happen, that has to happen. I don't care. But no, this chair is a little bit squeaky. It needs some oil. I've had this chair for I don't know a couple years now. Probably should get a new one, but I kind of like it. Me and this chair has been through some days. just sitting here in front of my computer, hanging out on the internet. Well, yeah, it is usually Bear, so yes, I would blame Bear. Um, Bear, she will just like she will just fart randomly all the time. She is not so she's supposed to be like a little dog lady, but she is not. She is not a lady at all. She is just one of the guys. She'll just poot whenever she wants to. I think she does get that from Guinness, but I don't know. Guinness can't even be blamed for it. She eats a lot. Like she doesn't just eat a lot, but she just like snarfs up her food. She does not have any manners at all. So I think that probably is what leads to her intestinal issues, gastrointestinal issues. Well, this is looking pretty good. I like it. I will come back and add some more detail a little bit later, but I wanted to get this in here. But no, she is not polite about that kind of stuff. But she's a dog. I still love her. She's cute. She is an adorable dog. All right, so I'm gonna put that to the side. Grab somewhere. Oh, there is a 9B. Let's see. See if I can get this dark. I guess it's not gonna matter at this point. It's just I'm not gonna have to press this dark. So this is actually the darkest pencil. I'm gonna remember that and come back and work on that a little bit. But so far, I think that's looking okay. So just because I never know how long this stuff takes, I'm going to build out from around the eye and try to get some other details in there. I'm going to try to go with this like mid-range pencil. Start getting some fur that comes out from around the eyes. May go a little bit darker, but we'll get started with this. I think this looks good. Is Bear a poodle? No, Bear's a mixed breed dog. I think there's some German Shepherd in her. She doesn't have curly hair. Um, she has a pretty straight hair. I think she's got some German Shepherd in her, and she's mixed with something else. But whatever she's mixed with, it's all just love. Like she is the most sweetest dog. Um, I'm trying to think if I've ever had a sweeter dog. I have never had a sweeter dog than Bear, I don't think. And she's like so afraid of everything. She's just a really tender kind of dog. So I don't know what breeds lead to that, but she's got all those in her. She's never mean. Guinness will sometimes chase the cat, and I think if like we weren't around, he would be very happy to like catch the cat. Bear is just like wanting to play with the cat sometimes, and it's genuinely wanting to play with the cat. She doesn't have a mean bone in her body. She's also stupid. She is the dumbest dog. Bear's the dumbest dog. Probably not the dumbest dog that I've ever met because I like dumb dogs, so I have them around an awful lot. So I don't know if Bear is like the dumbest dog, but she's up there. She's pretty dumb. Yeah, there's a bit of a shepherd in there. Tom, his stuff looks good. Reminds me of hiking and Boy Scouts. Poodles are pretty smart and live a long time. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a poodle. I like poodles. They're cute. Um, I don't like. I'm pretty lazy though. I don't know if I would like keep up with the poodles. Like, poodles deserve to look pretty. I don't know if I would be always giving them a haircut and stuff. What I like about my dogs, and definitely I like that about my cat, is they're pretty self-sufficient. Like, I don't know if it's just the way that we vibe or whatever, but they kind of do their own thing. I do my own thing. I make sure that they're fed and I play with them and stuff like that. But they have their own like internal lives. They do their own thing. I don't know what they're interested in, you know, like like if they could talk, I don't know what kind of conversations we would have or whatever, but they're kind of like self-sufficient. I like it. whenever I put them out in the yard, they just go out and play by themselves and stuff like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, we interact, we do our own, we do things together and stuff, but also they have their own little world, just like I do. You know, like when I go out of the house, they're not allowed to go with me, you know, except when I'm going to some place that they want to go, or I can take them. But you know, like if I go to the store or something, I can't take them in with me. So just like I have my own little world, they have their own little world. They have their favorite toys. They have they probably have their favorite TV shows. Like out of all the TV shows that I watch, sometimes they're watching too. So I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. A golden doodle, that would be cool. Yeah. Paws are like prehistoric. That is something I did not know. I've never actually seen a poodle in person, I don't think. Like obviously I know of poodles, like they're a very famous breed of dog. But I don't know if I've ever actually seen anybody who has one or had a friend or something that had one. There's I've seen like um variations of a poodle, like mixed poodle dogs and stuff like that, but I don't know if I've ever actually seen a poodle. A poodle? I would love to though. But now most of the dogs I end up with are mixed breeds, just because like I don't know, I like if I'm going to go look for a dog to pick up, I start thinking about it. I start thinking about how I start feeling bad for the dogs that are at the shelters. Um, you know, you see all those commercials and stuff where the dog is just sitting there in a cage and people are walking past them and stuff like I start feeling that way about bad about them and stuff, and I kind of want to like get a rescue dog, and that's what I end up doing. And there's very few rescue dogs that are full bred, so I don't even know. I guess I do have some favorites. Like for some reason, I've always liked Dalmatians. Any of you guys have a Dalmatian dog? Is it upside down? That's a great question. So now this is the eye, and it kind of comes down, and there's his nose. It's not upside down. If it looks upside down, I need to fix it. Great question. If you're talking about this picture. Um, but yeah, so like any of you guys know of anybody who has like a Dalmatian or something like that? Oh, you're just messing with me. It's pretty easy to do. I'm pretty gullible. Uh, I like Dalmatians. They're cute. Um, no real reason why. I just always thought that they had cool markings and like their faces. It's tough for me to pick a favorite because like I just like all kinds of dogs that honestly like there's dogs that I like to take care of in my own house and then I like to hang out with other people's dogs. So like my brother has the Cuba crazy. Oh, Dalmatians, yeah, I believe that. Um my brother's got like an Australian Shepherd. I'm not sure if I care to have an Australian Shepherd myself, but it's always fun hanging out with his Australian Shepherd because it's like super energetic. Um, he's also a puppy, but you know, he's always like trying to have fun, do things. I like that. I like that in a dog. But then when I get home and I look at my own dog, I kind of want like the type of dog that kind of curls up in your lap and just like not energetic, just watches TV with you, something like that. So I like all of them. Dogs are just awesome. I love dogs. Dogs are awesome. I feel like I'm not telling you guys anything new. You guys already know. Dalmatians are high anxiety. So that I'm used to because Guinness is high anxiety. Guinness is super smart and Guinness. And I think it works against him because his mind always has to be occupied. Otherwise he's anxious. So I can deal with that because I've been dealing with that. And Guinness, I think, has a little bit of border collie in him, and I think that's where that comes from. I think his mom was a border collie. I don't. I want to say he's got like some sort of. He's just like generic black dog. You know, whatever that breed is. It's not really a lab. He's too small to be a lab. So it's not like a black lab. He's just a generic black dog. Don't tell him I said that. He's not generic. He's special. But yeah. Um, you know, it's so weird because he is a generic black dog, and I have friends who have like carbon copies of him. Like they show me pictures of their black dog, and my black dog looks just about the same. By the way, this is all shadow because like this is under his ear. So I'm trying to get in here pretty quickly, but I still want it to be like realistic. I don't want to just kind of like, uh, I don't want to phone it in just because I'm quickly trying to get it in there. But yeah, a lot of people have black dogs that look like Guinness. So it's kind of hard to call them, you know, I mean, obviously he's special. Yeah, it's hard to say that he looks any particular special way or anything like that. He's very special. He really is. I love that dog though. I love all the dogs. But I really love Guinness. I love Bear's sweetness. I love Guinness's just curiosity. Like I really feel like I could give Guinness a problem. Like I could take like his food and maybe put it up on that shelf over here or something like that. And as long as he smells it and knows it's there, he will try to solve that problem. And if I give him tools, like if I give him like things for him to move around and stuff to build a ladder, I'm pretty sure he'll actually build a ladder because he's that smart. He really is. And Bear is the exact opposite. Bear's dumb. Bear is the dumbest dog. Can't get your feet that close. Oh, to stand on your head. I used to be able to do that when I was younger. I have not tried in years to try to stand on my head. I bet you I would get a headache out of it. I used to not have headaches, but now I do. It's, when you drink, you get headaches. Actually, if I drink that, I'll wake up with a little bit of a headache, maybe. If I don't drink that, I'd probably be drinking coffee. If I don't drink coffee, I will definitely wake up with a headache. I drink so much coffee that I get headaches if I don't drink coffee. Like if I forget to drink coffee on the weekend because it's not like I'm not trying to do any work or anything like that, I will end up with headaches by Saturday afternoon. So let that be a lesson to you kids out there. Do not develop a habit where you drink coffee every day because it will. You have to continue doing that, or else you'll end up with headaches. Margaritas and beer, no headache. Yeah, like that's actually how I determine whether or not beer is any good. Like I love Natty Daddy, right? And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I love Natty Daddy. It is the best low cost beer ever. I love the taste of it. I love the price of it. I love that it's was it 4 ounces alcohol by volume. It is the best beer just to just sit around and drink beer. That said, it will give me a headache. it is it is the worst best beer out there. And I'm not talking about Natty Light. I'm talking about actual Natty Daddy. So like they sell that at most WalMarts, but if you go to Walmart and you pick up Natty Daddy, it is not that Natty Light stuff. It is the full on, full fledged Natty beer, and it is the best if you just want to drink beer. If you just want to be a redneck, drink Natty Daddy. That said, it will give you a headache. It really will. MJ says, I can't start my day without coffee. I'm right there with you, for real. Like, I don't want to talk. I mean, it's cliche. You see it on T-shirt and on mugs, actually. But people say like, I can't talk to you until I've had my coffee. That is me. Like, if you try to talk to me before I have my coffee, I'm just I'm gonna be rude, and I'm just gonna ignore you. Don't take it personally. I'm just not in the zone yet. So I think this is looking pretty good. Getting some get some fur in here on this side. How we doing on time? I don't want. Yeah, we got plenty of time. But yeah, so I drink coffee in the morning, but then I drink it throughout the day. So like honestly, I will drink coffee up to about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and sometimes after. But yeah, I'm drinking coffee throughout the day up until that time. I drink too much coffee. Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you that this is good. This is bad. It's just how it is. Um, do not drink as much coffee as I do. It is not good for you. So, of course, I'm up until like midnight because I drink so much coffee. And that's actually the reason why I cut myself off around 5 o'clock or so, or probably like 4 o'clock. Um, because like if I don't, then I'll probably be up all night, which, sometimes I'm shooting for, sometimes I'm not. I am the type of person who can spend um, all night up and stuff and still function the next day. So sometimes I'm actually shooting for that. Like if I'm behind on a project and I need to get it done, I will stay up all night. I will I will be there for the McMuffin in the morning. Honestly, I do that sometimes. So like I don't usually go out for breakfast or anything like that, but sometimes I stay up so late that I'm like, I'm not usually up this early. I'm gonna go get a McMuffin. Let me go with a different blending stuff just to there you go. It's a little bit bigger. Blending this in. So like a little tip for people who draw, I've mentioned this before. Um let's see. Yeah. That you don't ever want to like over blend something. I see a lot of new artists do this where you'll blend something and then it'll all end up being like so soft and so blurry that you can't really pick out any details. Uh, Instead, you kind of want to go a little bit between. So, like if you saw here, I made all this blurry. That's fine. But then I'll come back over it and add a little bit of detail because you kind of want that balance. Um, I've seen a lot of um, not new artists, but just people who are like kind of finding their way. One of the major problems that I see that people do is that they do sometimes overblend things, especially like with portraits and stuff like that. You want to make sure that there are some details in there for people to like latch their eyes on. Just the same as you wouldn't want a photograph to be too blurry, you don't really want your drawings to be too blurry. So it's really easy to just come in with like a blending tool and just kind of like blur everything, but you kind of want those layers of detail. So like the top layer, you do want to kind of make sure that, especially like with fur, you kind of want to put some lines in there, something for somebody to kind of latch their eyes onto. That said, the rest of it probably should be blurry so that it doesn't detract from your actual details. So your details are the lines on top, the blurriness underneath. That's all fine. Um, Jeremy, make it a pot or by the cup. Oh, so yeah, that's a great question. So like when it came to the coffee, I used to make it by the pot, right? So that was my thing. But then modern technology got me into like doing the Keurig, and then I had like a little. It's called an espresso, and it's used for making espresso. So I had one of those machines for a little while, so I kind of got used to drinking espresso all the time, and those were like pods and stuff like that. So I got so used to making single serving drinks for myself that now that's all I do. So I have an espresso machine now. All I drink is espresso, which is way worse. So if you're just drinking regular coffee, you're probably okay. If you drink espresso as much as I do, it is not good. I am totally wired. So I'm totally wired all the time throughout the day. Like, if you think I'm like energetic on this show, oh man, you should meet me in person throughout the day. I'm always wired. And then at night, at night I need to calm down and go to sleep. So it's the exact opposite. So I'll drink like wine or I'll drink beer or I'll drink my bourbon just to relax. So alcohol puts me to sleep, coffee keeps me awake, and I know it's not healthy, but that is the cycle. So yeah, I drink espresso. So obviously I'm making individual drinks. There's no like a pot of espresso really. So yeah, that's how I do it. Um, Jay says, Jeremy, have you had Seven Brew? It's so good. I have not. I'm gonna have to look that up because I'm not really sure what that is. But that sounds good. I will give that a shot. If you recommend it, I like anything you guys recommend, I will try it just because I trust you guys. So give me some really crazy recommendations. I'll go out and try it. Probably not probably not a good invitation, but yeah, do it. My little brother had a Maltese poodle, a small one. She lived till 17. 17's a good length of time. He was in the army and had kind of a badass in kind of a badass, so he outranked a lot of guys and brought his poodle to work. Army poodle. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, I would think like an army guy and stuff trying to like I don't know fit like a stereotype of what an army person would be. Probably wouldn't normally pick a poodle, so I think that's awesome that he showed up with the poodle and kind of broke that stereotype. Like for some reason, I'm picturing like an army guy walking around with like a German Shepherd or something like that, like a canine type dog. But obviously, army everybody comes in all shapes and sizes. I keep saying that on this show, so you can't really ascribe something to everybody just because it's true of some or that it's a stereotype or whatever. I like this puppy. He's looking cute. Army poodle. Yeah, 17. That's a great run. I hope my dogs live to be 17 years. Tom says, I make as close as I can espresso in a mocha pot. Ah, I have a mocha pot. Yeah, so I usually use my espresso machine just because out of convenience. But whenever I'm just making regular coffee, I'm always using the mocha pot. Uh, you know, it's kind of like unnecessary, right? Like you have all these devices and everything like that. But I started watching old 1960s movies, especially like James Bond, and everybody in Europe uses these mocha pots. And so if you don't know what I'm saying, it's one of those things where you have a canister for water down at the bottom, and then you have the urn at the top, and the canister of water boils up into the urn, and that's how you make your coffee. Um, you can look it up. It's a mocha pot. Anyway, it's really big in Europe. So and it's really classy. It just sounds so like pretentious to say this, but it's so classy from like the old classic movies that I saw these other guys doing it, and I totally got influenced by them. I'm like, those guys are cool. I want to be cool, so I'm going to use a mocha pot. That is my story behind the mocha pot, and it is so true. I only use a mocha pot because I thought I would look cool like James Bond or whatever, like Sean Connery version of James Bond. Um, but no, I mean, even to this day, a lot of Europeans drink from mocha pots. So, oh, Lorraine, oh, French press. Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, I am such a coffee enthusiast. I really am. So my day to day is espresso because I just down espresso because I have to like remain alert all times, right? So that's my big thing. If I had to make coffee at home, I usually use the mocha pot because I'm a complete snob. And I saw these other guys doing it. I want to look cool like them. That's the only reason I use the mocha pot. The French press is my fallback if I don't want to take a lot of time to make it. So I know this drawing will get done eventually, but I wanted to talk about this coffee real quick. It's important. All right. So the French press is my like third in line if I'm at home, right? So if I'm at home, I do the espresso machine, then I do the mocha pot, and then if I have nothing else, I will do the French press. But if I'm out camping, complete inverse. There is nothing better, and I swear to this. I swear to this. Like, look, if anybody likes coffee, listen to what I'm saying right now. If you make coffee over a campfire and use a French press, it is going to taste amazing. If you put a pot of water on a campfire and you boil that, I am a coffee hoe. That is 100% true. So if you boil water over a campfire and then put it into like a French press to make your coffee, a French press is essential camping gear for me. it is going to taste amazing. I have never had better coffee in my life than that smoked flavored water that comes from a campfire over a French press. I don't care who you are. That is amazing coffee. If you haven't tried it, you need to give it a try. Sorry, I'm sorry I went on a sermon there, but I am so much in love with campfire coffee made in a French press. That's the first thing I pack when I go camping. You know, a tent, maybe, sleeping bag. Yeah, sleeping bag might help. But French press, that's absolutely going in the car. French press is a essential camping gear item because it's so easy to make. If you've never looked up a French press, like you don't know what we're talking about, look it up. It's really easy. You're basically pouring hot water over the coffee and then pressing the water or the grounds in to extract extract the coffee. Sorry, I've been drinking. Um, it's a really interesting way of making coffee, but the convenience of it makes it ideal for like camping or you know, on the go, right? So all you need is hot water in your coffee, and it doesn't like you don't have to worry about percolating it. You don't have to worry about all that jazz. It's just easy. Um, so yeah, it's perfect for camping. Campfire coffee, I highly recommend it. If nobody's tried, I mean, honestly, you don't even have to go camping. Just go out in your backyard and start a fire. I'm telling you, that smoky flavor just brings out the makes the coffee so much better. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good that I am like gushing over it. It's really that good. But yeah, give it a shot. Some of you guys might already know what I'm talking about. Like if you've used a French press, you might have actually took that with you camping because it's such a convenient tool. Like I've seen coffee pots that are made for camping and stuff like that. I don't understand why anybody would use that. It's a lot easier just to do the French press, and then you're all set. It's really easy. You just throw it in the in your bag. It's easy to clean up. You just rinse it out. It's easy. Yeah, campfire coffee. Try it. Impress your friends, and you're good to go. I'm glad you brought that one up. Yeah, the French press definitely for campfires. Again, I use it at home sometimes, but my go-to is the Mocha Pot. The Mocha Pot does take a little bit longer, especially since I have like an electric stove. It takes a little while for the water to heat up and stuff. It's just, you know, if you want to look like James Bond, you got to use a Mocha Pot. You really do. And like I said, everybody over in Europe, they use these things. They're not the most convenient thing, especially like over a modern stove. You have to like You have to put them over the stove to heat up, and then you have the handle, which is usually plastic off to the side so it doesn't melt. My Mocha Pot's handle is actually a little bit melted, so that's my only complaint. It's not the most convenient. The French press, you can just like microwave hot water and then throw it in there. French press is the most convenient. I will say that. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Well, if you have a machine, that's the most convenient. Like obviously, if you have a Keurig, you can just throw a pot in there or something like that. I wouldn't even say the Keurigs are the best. Like that Nespresso thing that I was talking about, they also use pods. Uh, that's really good. George Clooney is always promoting those. It's like a Italian company that makes those Nespresso. Problem is, I had trouble finding pods for it, and then I started making my own pods, and then I just kind of gave up and was like, I'm just gonna get an espresso machine. So the pour over stuff, I haven't really tried that. I hear really good things about the pour over coffee. I'm gonna have to try that sometime. Warhorse says, at a Civil War reenactment is a cotton bag full of coffee ground boiled over a campfire at night. Yeah, back in like Civil War times and stuff, mind finding pinion, pinion. I don't know how to pronounce that. Pinion coffee, and it's on my list to try. Is Tom still in here? Tom was gonna give that a try. Um, I think. Uh, that's something that I haven't tried yet, but I'm gonna try it. But chicory, no. Chicory's like not good. Usually a gallon and a half pot. It turns out strong enough to clean our muskets. I love it. My dad used to do Civil War reenactments all the time, so I know exactly what you're talking about. As a kid, I used to go to those. They were a lot of fun. You get to pretend to be a soldier. The rifles they just fire black powder and stuff like that, so they're not really anything that would hurt anybody. Um, but like when you're firing them off, you feel like they're still very real and stuff. The New Mexico Pinion is good, medium body. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to give that a shot. I am definitely gonna have to give that a shot. Just because you and Gallatin Ghost recommended. I think Gallatin originated it. I mean, she lives in New Mexico, so it makes sense. I love New Mexico. I don't know if I would live in New Mexico, but I definitely enjoyed visiting. Let's see, this little blank area here should have some fur. Getting pretty close to getting the basics in there. I don't know, get some details in there as well, but your mom is currently processing boxes of pinion cones, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Is it pinion or pinion? I've always said pinion, but I don't know if that's correct. I don't know if I've ever heard the word spoken, but certainly I've been around a lot of pinion trees. Been all up in those trees looking for that treasure. It's ridiculous. I was just watching a like a trailer for Meow Wolf in San Francisco. Not San Francisco, Santa Fe. Sorry, rookie mistake. Um, and that place looks awesome. I kind of regret not going to that when I was in New Mexico. San Francisco and Santa Fe are not the same place. Not at all. But that place does look really cool. I wonder what the pinion nut tastes like. I am super curious. I'm super curious on the coffee, especially just because like I'm probably going to get some soon, just to try it out, just because everybody else is talking about it. You know, kind of a sucker for that kind of stuff. Uh, I've been in like so many hot sauce challenges just because everybody else was doing it. I'm kind of like susceptible to peer pressure. So if everybody else is doing like a opinion um like coffee challenge, I'm into that. All right, so I think we got the basics of all the fur in there. Let me get switching back and forth on pencils here. So the thing is, like, you've got a bunch of different areas here that need to get shaded in. Whenever people talk about shading, you're talking about like where the darkness is on the paper, but there's so many different layers of darkness. I don't like to use the word shading so much. I like to use, um, like the proper term is like adding value to the image, right? So like you have different areas that are different values. Um, I can sharpen this pencil real quick. Um, this is definitely not as many values as I want in this paper yet, but we're getting there. It's just adding layers upon layers. You'll eventually get there. Like the really dark areas is where I want to have the most value. They have these pencils that are not reflective. I might get some of those just to try them out because that's the one thing I hate, or not hate, but dislike about graphite It's so super reflective, and it probably wouldn't matter except that I've got like all these lights in here just for doing the live stream so that you guys can see what I'm working on. Should probably dial that back a little bit when I'm working on graphite pictures, pictures. And it's always tough to take a picture of your drawing when it's done if you're drawing in graphite because like you go to take a picture and it's like highly reflective. It is tough. A lot of people use a I'm not it doesn't matter now because I'm not reaching that far across the page, but a lot of people use like a piece of paper underneath their hand so that they don't like pick up the graphite and smear it. You can often find pine nuts at the grocery store when looking for them. I will have to look for that. I am kind of curious. Are pinion nuts pine nuts? I think there's a difference. I really do, but I don't know enough about it. I feel like if you lived in New Mexico and somebody said pine nuts and kind of equated it with pinions, they would probably balk at that. I am not. I'm not that guy. We need Gallatin Ghost in here. Gallatin Ghost lives in New Mexico and she is smart. She knows the difference. We've done. She's been in here before. We've done drawings for her. Her dog. One of her dogs passed away. We did a drawing for her. I gotta get Mama Q's picture out in the mail. I haven't done that yet. I'm really slacking. I'm getting behind on like some of the things that I tried to do. I don't mean to. I just kind of do. We'll get it all done eventually. So I like this dark side. I feel pretty good about it. So I am going to actually remove the tape just because I like having nice straight edges. So let me remove that a little bit. I don't want to tear the paper. Be a little bit more careful there. I like having this nice straight edge here. Looks pretty good. I didn't really want to use this blue tape. Yeah. I didn't want to use this blue tape, but I didn't have the other kind. So anyway, nice straight edge there. Continue along. So it being Tuesday, anybody got plans for the week? Is it a pretty normal week for you guys? We are in October, right? Like I I don't know where the time went. Like it was summer just like last week in my mind. I don't know how we ended up getting into October already. Um, the U.S. election is like less than a month. That'll be great to get rid of. So happy when that's over. It is fall weather. We've got Halloween coming up. That's exciting. All the spooky movies are back on the streaming services. If you haven't gone to see, oh, happy birthday, Rome! That's awesome. Nice. Um, yeah, happy birthday, man. If you haven't gone to see Beetlejuice in theaters, that's pretty good. So that's a nice little spooky one for the season. I heard Joker is not doing well. and that makes me sad because I really like the Joker that was in theaters a few years back that they made a sequel of. Um, I heard that this Joker is just not good, and that's sad because I really wanted it to be good. I was looking forward to it. It was one of those movies that was like high on my list, and it just didn't happen. But that's okay. Sometimes that happens. Yeah, happy birthday. That is so cool. I like when people have birthdays. So like if you have any requests, I'm happy to do them like probably Thursday. You know, I like when you guys have birthdays and stuff to like actually do pictures for you. It's the least I can do, you know. So Rumdong, if you have any requests, you let me know. Feel free to shoot me an email or like a comment or something if you change your mind later. Or... All right, so I did want to kind of go back to this eye. I don't know if it's going to like dramatically change, but I wanted to get some would love a request. Hey, just let me know. Like I'm probably not going to remember it if you just blurt it out now, but feel free to drop a comment or send me an email. My email address is on the about page, and I am request a Sasquatch. Oh man, I forgot. Kids been asking for a Sasquatch. I'm so far behind on things that I want to do. Like I said, I still got to get Mommy Q's picture of her cat out or her daughter's cat out in the mail. I haven't done that yet. I just suck. So I do want to do it like a Sasquatch. I really do. It's like kids ask for it. I love switching to a mechanical pencil just because it's so precise. Yeah, I gotta do the Sasquatch. This is a Sasquatch. Doesn't it look like a Sasquatch to you? I don't know why you keep asking for Sasquatch. Every single time I draw a picture, it's a I've done 500 Sasquatches so far. Every cat I draw, that's a Sasquatch. Every dog I draw, it's a Sasquatch. Sasquatches are just furry animals. That's all. Very human looking animals. I still say basically a Sasquatch is going to look like one of my gorillas that I've done. That's probably true. I mean, maybe a little bit different. Like a furry gorilla, really. Like if you took a gorilla and crossed it with the dog, that's basically a Sasquatch. Yeah. So same deal. If I come in and blur some of this out, it's going to give me my tone that I'm looking for. And then I can kind of come back over it with a few lines, and that will give me basically realistic fur. So you start with this like blurry layer. In case anybody's ever interested in doing fur, like in pencil or something like that, it's pretty common. You know, I don't care who you are as an artist. Somebody at some point, somebody's gonna ask you to draw their dog. So you need to pay. If you're the least bit interested in drawing pictures, somebody's gonna ask you to draw a dog. You need to learn how to draw fur. So you basically like kind of blur things out so that you have like the right kind of tone, and then you kind of come back in and you re-add, you know, your fur, which is not just lines, you know, they're lines of various thicknesses and stuff representing shadows that are falling between the fur, like the individual hairs, but you're never actually drawing an individual hair really. It's more like clumps of hairs. So kid requests a drawing of my ex-wife. She was a hairy girl. There you go. I can knock them both out at the same time. Rome Dog's ex-wife and Sasquatch. Same picture. Not a big deal. I can do it. I love that. There are some Sasquatch looking women out there in the world. I'm not gonna lie. But that's okay. You know, we come in all shapes and sizes. I am not going to like give Sasquatch girl a hard time. I'm sure she's very, very nice. So you can see once you get these like basic layers in and stuff, you can kind of really quickly come back over it and create these realistic areas. And sometimes it's just as easy, it's simple. Sorry, not easy. As blending in some areas, and then you know, the number one trick that I can tell people who are like trying to improve their drawings is like spend some time creating those value changes, right? So like this dark area here, it just looks more realistic. Your puppy dog is going to look more realistic. If I put in like this little dark area here, which I'm seeing in the reference photo, catching that shadow, it just looks more realistic. There's more realism in terms of like features going on in this picture because you're playing with more shadows. So like spend some time getting your shadows right and your picture is going to benefit from it. So like I watch other people do things and stuff like that, and I don't feel like it's right for me to criticize and stuff. Who am I? But I have noticed some things are pretty common. They're repeated things that people have trouble with and stuff. Like I am starting to get to the point where I can like like I can probably help them by telling them the right way to do it. Um, Number one, I keep talking about is like I see inexperienced artists blending it too much, right? So like you'll see like everything's blended out, especially like when they do portraits for the first time or something like that. Somebody told them that you need to add shadow or something like to the side of their face, so they'll like blend in everything, and then there's nothing for your eye to focus on. There's no detail in it and stuff. It's all just kind of blurred out, you know, because somebody told them that you should use a blending stump and they just kind of got carried away. So that's strike one. So I would recommend, don't do that. Uh, create layers of stuff where the bottom layer is all blurred out. Everything looks super blurred. Um, oh, because the can's taken off. Hey, have a good evening, man. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Um, so yeah, so do the bottom layer super blurred. You're fine there. And then come back over it with some detailed layers. So it's something that people can like latch your eyes onto. Like this fur that I'm doing, it looks really great over the blurred areas, and then you're good. So that's step number two. And then the third step, the third thing that I would recommend to people who haven't really been drawing for a long time. Again, I haven't really been drawing for a long time. This is still a learning process for me. I'm just relaying what I've noticed in my work and other people's work. So the third thing that I would recommend is actually spend some time trying to get those values correct, right? So like I'm looking at this reference picture, I'm looking at my picture. It's not perfect, but every time I come in and I make corrections to the values, and by values I mean the shadows and stuff, it becomes more realistic, you know? So like if I come in and I look at this area here that's it not in the light, and I'm like, okay, that really needs to be darkened in a little bit more. So I really press down on the pencil just a little bit, you know, and get that darker like bit underneath the cheek. I guess this would be like cheek area here. Yeah, like the high cheek area. It just looks more realistic. It's just the way it works. So I'm looking at this register here, and I see that up here it needs to be darkened a little bit. And you can see I'm not like drawing each individual hair. I'm just kind of like dropping in large amounts of shadow because there's like a ridge there of fur. Somebody mentioned it is like fur contours. Thanks, Rome Dog. Yeah, so these contours get in here. And then, you can put in like individual splotches through here. Get those shadows in there. I don't know. Those are just like little things that I've noticed. They greatly improve a drawing without like a lot of effort. It's not. I don't want to spend a lot of effort on this. First off, I'm already an hour and a half into it. I don't want to spend 6 hours doing this picture. I want it to look realistic without that much effort. So, you know, want to get I want to get as much in there as I can without having to like spend, you know, 10 hours or something doing it. Because sometimes people do. Sometimes people spend, I don't know if they're lying, but I believe them when they say they spend 6 hours on a realistic drawing or 10 hours or something like that. They're shooting for something I'm not shooting for. I'm shooting for good enough, you know. That's what I offer on this channel. I'm like, well, it looks realistic enough, and it's passable for a dog. Hey, Huli, how's it going? Pine nuts are expensive. I haven't tried them. MJ says, excellent drawing. Thank you. Appreciate it. From Dog says, when I first drew Rome, I did human eyes. So I did a good study on just dog eyes, ears, nose. Looks good, Jeremy. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities between dog eyes and human eyes. They're pretty similar, but there's enough differences. You don't see a lot of white in the dog's eyes because they're like if they're looking to the side or something like that, you can catch those things, but for the most part, you're not going to see them as clearly as you do in human eyes. To each their own style and stuff. You know, like if you're doing like a cartoon, obviously you don't need to do the eye like this. But the challenge here was to do like a realistic eye because I've done human being eyes, I've done cat eyes. I think I might do more of these. Like I really want to do like a horse eye now that I've done the human, the cat, and the dog. But I couldn't go without doing a dog. Maybe at some point I'll do like a more close up dog eye. Like I feel like this is more of a dog's face. But you guys get the drill. But yeah, definitely be careful with your blending. And then if you need to come back and put those details back in because like when you're just doing blending like this, I mean it makes it so realistic, but then also you can like lose some of the detail. So be conscious of that. But for the most part, I like the blending tool because it quickly puts in like this is in black and white, but you got to imagine it being in color, right? So like this brown here would be a lighter brown than the other browns around it. It's all a brown dog. I mean, you know, I'm not trying to hide the fact that it's a brown dog, but you're going to get different variations of brown. All right. So I'm going to take this top part off just because I'm enjoying exposing these hard edges because I think it looks so cool. So even though it's not done, let me get these in there. This is crap paper, by the way. I didn't use the really good paper, so if I end up tearing the paper, it's because I used the wrong tape because I'm out of this kind of tape. So I've been using the blue tape, but also this isn't the best paper. Yeah, horse eye would be cool. The horse's eyes are so expressive. I'm also I need to do more horses because we're in horse racing season. I know it doesn't mean anything to you guys, but the local horse track has two meets, one in spring and one in fall. They just started this past weekend their fall meet. Keeneland, if you want to look it up, but they just started their fall meet, and I got to get down there. I do it every year. It's so nice. I know that you guys aren't gonna like pack up and head to Kentucky just to experience this, but if you're ever in town or you're here on vacation and stuff, it's a great experience. come during spring or fall, and you can go and watch these horses race. And it's such a great experience to like go down to the track, have a glass of bourbon, watch the horses race, watch them walk around the paddock. It's really nice. You know, every place has their thing. Ours is horses. It's a really cool experience. So one of the important things is like it's kind of hard to see on this camera, but there's like some detail here in the shadows. So shadow isn't just dark, right? The shadow is a reflection of like the features around it. So the hair and the eye and the eyebrow essentially is causing shadow on the eye. So it's not just a line here. It's you know, there's like little features and stuff pushed into it. That's just the nature of shadows, is that the shadows are actually the shape of the things around it. So don't forget that. All right. At this point, I'm looking for like quick pick-me-ups of little things that I could put in. Like I feel like it's pretty detailed already, uh, pretty realistic, but I'm also looking for in like a short period of time they were doing this like little things that I could put in, like little things that I didn't notice in the first go around. Because honestly, you can spend a lot of time refining this picture over and over until you get it right. But there's also like a couple of little things that you can put in that makes for big differences. Like, you know, that little darkness there and stuff. This is the shape of a dog's eye. And there's these like little dark areas that I get in. Um, if you go back to the beginning, those weren't there. Putting those things in there gives you a realistic dog eye. And it's really dark around here. I start getting heavy-handed with the darkness at the end because I really like high contrast pictures. I've noticed that about myself. Um, I like pictures where the subject is in like a lot of shadow or like a lot of light or something, and like there's the contrast between the two. I love that kind of like I get that from really loving like Rembrandt paintings. Like if you ever look at Rembrandt paintings, that guy is a master of light. I love how his portraits have like intense light on the subject and then also intense shadows. So I'm not always going to pull that off, but that's what I shoot for. Especially like with the pencil drawings or charcoal drawings, black and white drawings. If you look at black and white photographs, they're always like these really high contrast pictures from your ex-wife. Eye would be cool. Not even his ex-wife, just his ex-wife's eye. That's hilarious. Hey man, it's your birthday. Whatever you want, Rome. Just shoot me whatever you want. I will do it. And you know, if it's appropriate, I will do it on camera. If it's inappropriate, I'll have to not do it on camera. But um, if you want your ex-wife's eye drawn, hey, whatever floats your boat, man. It's your birthday. Go nuts. I love people's birthdays. Like a lot of the times, you know, adults they don't celebrate birthdays, and I get it. We're all like cynical, and you know, we're too old and all that jazz. I get it. I really do. And I know that like after a certain age, you know, you're not really celebrating anymore. You're not looking forward to being older. But I also feel like birthdays are something special. You know, like it's the only day in the year that's all about you. Um, So I respect that. Like, if any of my viewers have birthdays and stuff, let me know. I will, you know, schedule pending, but like, I will really try to make your birthday special by doing a drawing for you. Jeremy, are you drawing bear's eyes? Yeah, this could look like bear for real. That's not the reference picture I've got, but the thing with bear is that she's got a mask. So she's got kind of like a raccoon mask. So she's over here doing like, hey bear. She's got heavy eyeliner essentially, and then like her snout is black, so she looks a little bit like a raccoon. So now this isn't bear, but it could be bear. It's a same type of dog. Rome dog, a horse eye would be cool. Basically, MJ is saying that Rome dog's ex-wife is a horse. That's what I took from that. Yeah. So I think we're almost done here, actually, because like it's pretty realistic. It's got everything in it that we set out to do. Just trying to get things a little bit looking normal. Dog, go lay down. Hey, buddy, come here. If you keep scratching at the door, I'm not going to draw you. I've drawn Guinness 3 times, bear once. I feel like I need to draw bear. I really do. She's got such a pretty face too. So you see, I get heavy-handed towards the end, trying to get all this high contrast shadows in here, just because I think it makes for a really good picture. Again, if you look up black and white photography, it's all about like really, really light whites and really, really dark blacks. And even though it's really hard to do that with a graphite pencil, just because it's reflective, you can still pull it off. You really can. And then I end up going back over things that I've already done just because I'm adding more layers on it, more graphite on it. Just getting those values right as best I can. Because it's really not hard to create a realistic, well, I, I don't want to diminish anybody's struggle, okay, by saying it's not hard. There are certain fundamentals that you're shooting for, and one of them is really getting the lights and the shadows right. So if you do really well at a few things, you're going to do great. And when I say if you do really well at a few things, I don't mean like you have to like really nail it. You just have to do okay in a few things, and you can create a realistic picture. So you look at a realistic picture and you're like, man, I can't do that. You can absolutely do that. It's just patience, taking time, and going back over the things that you've already done so many times. Goat eyes. What are you guys talking about with goat eyes? I'm not sure what a goat eye looks like. I have never seen a picture. So my parents had goats and my grandparents had goats. So I've seen goats. I don't think I've ever looked at a goat's eye. So I have no idea what they look like. You guys are weird with your goat eyes. That's what I never looked at that. So it's like a little bit through here. It's very soft and soft in terms of like shading and all that, just because it's like really short hairs. And it's out of focus because it's like up in your face. So I think that looks pretty good. If there's any other pick-me-ups, it'll come after I remove the tape. So I love like if I get something done and I'm like calling it done, I like removing the tape. I feel like we're making progress here. So let me pull this side off. I mean, I can still make changes and add to it. It's just like I'm already stuck in this kind of like square. For some reason, when I do these eyes, I like to make it cropped so that you can see like you're focused on the eye, you know? So I like these clean edges so that you're not wondering, well, where's the face end and stuff like that. You're not worried about that kind of stuff. You're very cropped in on this. So I like that. Let me take a swig of this. So we're just about done here. In fact, I think we are done. There might be like little things that I can improve here. Whoops. Gotta be careful not to rip the paper. I don't care so much because it's not like this is gonna go on a gallery wall or anything like that. But you know, I might. It's worthy of framing. I might put in like a little split frame. It might surprise you guys to know that I don't actually have a lot of my drawings hanging around my house and stuff. I only have a few of them. I mean, I do have some, obviously, but I don't have a lot, which is kind of strange. It's mostly because like I don't buy a lot of frames, so it's like I'm happy to do a drawing, but it's like when I have to reach in my pocket to buy a frame, I'm like, ah. That said, you know, you can go to like Goodwill or something and pick up some frames for pretty cheap. I might do that and get some of them in there. But this would look kind of cool, framed, hanging on a wall. So it's, again, with the details and the blurriness and blendedness and stuff like that, you're just kind of like you're doing a balancing act. You don't want it to be too blurred, and you don't want it to be too, you know, drawn or whatever. I don't know. Godai equals freak show. I feel like Rome's gonna like have a great like request for his birthday. I don't know if you mentioned it in here. I didn't see it, but yeah, Rome dog. Just let me know. Maybe on Thursday we'll do that. So I think we're gonna call this done. Again, the focus was doing a dog's eye. I think we nailed it. That's about as humble as I can get. It's not perfect. It's good enough. I think it's fine. It looks like a dog's eye. You know, it looks comparable to the cat eye I did and the human eye did, so I'm pretty happy with that. So just to kind of like mention some features of the eye. So on the eye, you know, you're gonna have this darker outside edge. You're gonna have a little bit of darkness kind of coming into the iris of it, and then you're always going to have like this reflection. So be cognizant of the getting the reflection. You don't have to leave it negative like I did here when drawing, because you can always kind of come back over it and you know, with an eraser or in different mediums you can use like white paint or something like that. But just be cognizant that you're going to end up with like reflection over like the dark area of the eye, so you want to be careful there. In this case, I just kind of drew around it, which I think works really fine. So, yay, this is Bear. So, Bear, say hi to the camera. So you see how like she's got like this mask and stuff. As she gets older, it's becoming white, but it used to be like really black. So this is not Bear, but she's got the basic features of the same dog. Anyway, yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I really like doing realistic pictures. I don't do them all that often just because I don't have like a ton of patience and everything. But I like how they look when they turn out and stuff like that. Whenever I do like you know, like a fun interpretive like loose picture or something like that, it looks really cool to me. I enjoy it and stuff like that. But I feel like, well, somebody might get the impression that I don't really have drawing skills or something like that. So it's really important to do like some of these realistic pictures every now and then, just to really flex those kind of muscles, like those artistic skill muscles. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Uh, and I think we'll call this one done. Just a reminder, I will be back. Yeah, let me switch to the just me. There you go. Yeah, so just a reminder, I will be back on Thursday to do like another drawing and stuff. So Thursday is usually when I do my drawings. However, I do think that according to the news, that's when that hurricane's going to hit. So if you are in any of the areas that might be affected by the hurricane, don't watch this show. Huddle up, get in the basement and stuff. Like if you're in the basement and you still have internet and you're watching this show just to pass the time, that's great. But head for shelter. I don't want anybody getting hurt because they thought that you know, this show might be entertaining. Nobody needs to get in any danger over an art show. So yeah, see, Bear's got this like she's getting older, so she's got white in her face, but she has this raccoon mask. But she's adorable. I love her. She knows she's on camera. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys go. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Tuesday night. I'll be back on Thursday. Dogs are clawing at the door to get out, so I will see you then. Thank you, everybody. Bye. Have a good one. Thanks.